everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cruising Israel. I'm your host, Natalie.
And I'm Max.
This week on the show, we are starting out by going straight to Jerusalem.
Oh yeah? We've been there many times. What's going on?
Many times.
Something new?
Well, we're actually headed to the Tower of David Museum. Now, we've been to that museum plenty of times before on the show, but not only are they doing something new each time, this has never been done in Israel.
Oh, some new exhibit or something?
Something like that has to do with real cutting-edge technology, VR.
Cool. Let's check it out.
But I won't say too much.
All right, sounds interesting. Let's go check that out.
The Tower of David is a feature of Jerusalem that's been iconic for millennia. They're constantly coming up with new and interactive ways visitors can explore it, and today we're going to check out their latest innovation. If you want a glimpse into Jerusalem's past, the Tower of David is where to go. Here, the story of Jerusalem from its beginnings until today is presented at length, covering various historical periods. And now the Tower of David Museum has teamed up with a leading virtual reality company to provide visitors the most interactive experience possible.
We always say that we're in the wow business. Every time we demonstrate it to somebody who's never tried virtual reality before, we count up to 5 seconds until the person inevitably goes, wow.
This system is the very first VR walking tour ever in Israel and uses cutting-edge technology to allow visitors to step through history.
We can see Jerusalem through the eyes of our ancestors, how it was at the time of King Herod some 2,000 years ago.
Putting on the VR goggles instantly transports you into a digital world. Not only are you touring around the exact spots historic events took place, but now you can actually get a better view of how it looked as these events unfolded.
If you look 2,000 years ago, you definitely see that the hills, we have the bare hills, and then when you turn right like you do, you see the tower that was here, and you see the city of the end of the Second Temple at the time of King Herod, which was a big, huge city with wonderful structures.
You don't only have to paint a picture now, you could actually see it with your own 2 eyes.
People don't have to imagine, they can see it.
Exactly.
So it's much easier and it gives a much richer experience and it's more enjoyable.
What makes this virtual reality experience unique is its combination with rigorous academic research, talented 3D artists and modelers, and software engineers. So we're bringing digital humanities through a content creation pipeline to virtual reality.
The virtual reality tour starts out in the museum and then spills out into the streets of Jerusalem. The tour reaches places like the Herodian Pool, the Kishle, the Temple Mount, and the Herodian Quarter.
This is my first time ever experiencing virtual reality. I find it interesting because you're able to see a 360 of it.
It's incredible. It really is. For me, it really takes me back just to see when you look in a certain direction, you see the sand, and then you look back and you see the old town and the buildings. It just really kind of takes my breath away.
I think it's the way that tourism and visitor experiences are going to go. Up until now, there have been VR experiences, static VR experiences within museums or visitor centers, and this is a whole new experience.
You know, Max, just a few years ago, you would never be able to think that a technology like this could even exist. I mean, the VR
crazy.
takes you right to, just takes you a step through history.
And they've really mapped it to the ancient sites that have been there for so long. It's such a cool thing to have this cutting edge technology mixing with something that's excavated from so many thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
So what are we
cool.
doing next?
All right, so now we're actually headed to the north of Israel, to Nazareth, Elite.
Okay.
Just an hour north, I would guess, an hour and a half.
What's going on up there?
We're actually doing something completely different. We're headed to a chocolate festival Festival. I know how much you love chocolate.
Oh yeah, chocolate
And
festival.
I also love
Sounds
chocolate.
Cool.
I mean, who doesn't? And there's lots of gourmet chocolatiers that are going to be selling their stuff.
Very interesting. Sounds like a fun time. Let's go check that out.
Chocolate is a very popular sweet here in Israel, with many domestic chocolatiers making a name for themselves here in the Holy Land. So what better place to show off these award-winning chocolates than in Israel's chocolate capital? Israel's northern city of Nazareth Illit is home to the country's biggest and most historic chocolate factory, making chocolate since the 1930s. And although the brand has been producing most of Israel's chocolates for decades, in recent years a growing number of Israeli chocolatiers are producing gourmet chocolates with their very own unique flavors right here in Israel. Welcome to the chocolate factory. What do you guys think about Israeli chocolate? Chocolate from Nazareth. Amazing, right? Yeah. Here at Nazareth's third annual chocolate festival, you'll find chocolatiers showcasing their handmade delicacies, even including some which feature Middle Eastern twists to die for.
הפרלין הזה הוא פרלין הדגל שלנו, הוא עם טחינה לימון ומלח גס, והוא זוכה כבר 3 שנים, מקום שני. אם את אוהבת טחינה, תאהבי, ואם לא, אז לא יעבוד.
I absolutely love trina, but trina with chocolate?
תנסי, מה יכול להיות?
That's really good.
The festival is trying to bring some more tastes. We are working with a specialist on the chocolate side called Ronen Aflalo. He's doing in the festival a huge fair of chocolatiers that are doing a lot of different and unique kind of chocolate.
Ronen learned the craft in France and today manages the Israeli Academy for Chocolate, which is the go-to destination for anyone who wants to learn the ins and outs of the chocolate industry.
זה קרמל, לימון ובזיליקום. הוא זכה מקום שלישי בעולם. תכף אני אתחיל איתך עם עוד מאוד מעניין.
It does taste like basilicum amanta? Basil? Wow, I've never had that in my chocolate, but it works. It tastes good.
אני חושב שהפסטיבל הזה מאוד חשוב, כי הוא בעצם מדגיש את העלייה ברמה של כל הקולינריה בארץ ולא רק שוקולד. כאן אנחנו באמת מתמקדים בשוקולד ספציפי, אבל המון שפים ישראלים היום מאוד מצליחים בעולם.
Some local chocolate companies are even family-run, with everyone in the household pitching in. So, who is the official chocolate taster in the family? When you come up with a new ingredient, who tests it out?
Okay.
And your flavor.
The children flavor, the little one. She is the taster. She is not a chocolate lover. This is my favorite.
This is your favorite?
Yeah, it's a salted caramel. I think it's the best.
Wow. Wow, that is amazing. In some booths, you can find chocolate not just for eating. Its benefits are used through a selection of cosmetic products.
We bring the chocolate in creaming, peeling for the body and everything.
Cacao.
Everything is organic, very natural, very good for the skin.
This is peeling with coffee and cacao. It's very good for the blood and feel very warm.
So with the demand for Israeli chocolate on the rise, we can expect to see more and more gourmet chocolatiers opening up shop here in the Holy Land. Now, while we're still here in Nazareth, there's another place I'd like us to check out. It's called Indimaj Jewelers. They actually employ people from all different backgrounds, Jews, Arabs, Bedouin, Christians. So that should be interesting to check out as well.
Do that now?
Let's do it.
Cool, let's go do that.
Nazareth's industrial park is home to some of Israel's leading companies, attracting a diverse group of local, talented employees. The industrial park not only showcases some of the innovative work taking part in Israel's Galilee region, but also harnesses the power of what can come when people of different backgrounds come together. Coexistence is part of the unique synergy here, where skilled and innovative workers come together in common cause.
Today we're going to take you to a jewelry factory who brings together both Jewish and Arab workers who share the same creative passion.
Indimaz Jewelry is just one of the unique projects taking place here. It started out with a vision to gather talented people from various backgrounds to work together to design and craft stunning jewelry pieces.
The reason we selected jewelry is something that you can have on you, something you can wear, something that will signify that this has been done by some other human being.
Now you said Indimaj means fusion, right, in Arabic?
Yes.
So you're obviously referring to the fusion of cultures. Now do you see that in the collection?
Yes, my answer to your question is this. This is what we call the Arabesca collection. Okay. This will reflect the whole background of different cultures that we have here in the factory. So this is the design that has been taken from, even from the earth, the housing here in the area, pearls from the sea.
Billionaire entrepreneur Steph Wertheimer founded Indimaj with a commitment to offer new opportunities to the diverse population living outside of Israel's main cities.
All the employees that are working in the industrial park are coming from this area: Nazaret, Afula, Yokneam.
Wertheimer believes working together can build and strengthen relationships between groups in a mutually respectful environment.
So not only does Indimaj sell these beautiful jewelry pieces, but this is where the students could learn the trade, right? Tell us about the school.
So the idea of the school was to have, as I said, different ethnic backgrounds of people coming together to work and to learn together.
The school was born with an aim to harness the potential of Israel's jewelry industry and provides the skills required to succeed in this specialized field.
What you can see here, some of the pieces that the students made at the beginning, all right, when we just started, and based upon this basic things that you see here, we upgraded the jewelry. We said, okay, so where do we take it on from here? This is our very beginning from our first course that we did. Why don't we go and see how it works, okay? Please. So this is the workshop. Well, this is where the students used to wear it. Now this is the factory.
It's an unbelievable view that they have here. Wow.
Yeah, very nice.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So what exactly goes on here?
The first step, it's of course design, okay? We use a 3D design.
So tell me about Indimaj's latest collection. What are you working on right now?
Right now we are working on two collections, flower collection and sea collection.
Nice.
It all starts in sketches, first hand sketches and then a little bit on the computers.
So you start out by just jotting it down on paper,
yes.
and then the idea comes to life.
And then I'm starting to working in the Rhino or in Photoshop. Then I fix it to be something that is real.
What are you wearing? Is this the Indimaj collection?
Of course.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
The bracelet, also
Thank
the necklace?
you. Also the necklace.
So it's very much your style. You designed it?
Yes, I designed it.
Oh wow, that's so nice. Yeah. Not everyone could say that they're wearing the jewelry that they designed. So here we could see two very different techniques of jewelry making. Let's talk about what she's doing.
Okay, so we're going from the modern to what used to be the old one, okay? Right. So you see
handmade
here, this
jewelry.
is Christina. Christina, she's a new immigrant. She comes from Belarus, and she's working directly on brass. You can see the cutting, that's what she's doing right now. After she cutted her pieces, she's working on making them smooth.
Looks like she's creating some ridges to prevent it from being just a smooth surface.
Exactly.
Jewelry making involves the use of precious metals, so it's important to make sure there's no waste. The leftover scrapes are melted down to be used into new pieces.
He's melting at 960 degrees centigrade.
Ooh.
You get a shot of espresso.
Wow. And now it looks like it cooled down really quickly.
This has to be put in water now. Planting the piece that you melted before, that will make it come out something like that.
Let's see how this turned out. Nice smooth
like
surface. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we want the same things. We want to make a nice living, to enjoy what we do, to be able to give our children a good education, and not to fight about everything. And that's proven here.
So far, we've had a pretty long day. I think it's time to head back to Tel Aviv. I know I'm hungry.
Me too.
And I know that you recommended a good restaurant Nordoi, the other day.
He's
And
got a crazy chef. Yeah, I can't wait to see what he does for us. You're gonna really love watching him work. Let's check it out.
Okay. In a pink, picturesque, historic building sits one of the newest and most attractive restaurants to hit the streets of Tel Aviv. Today we're going to try some classic and elegant dishes made by a passionate chef who was inspired by his trips around Europe. Resembling a classic European coffee house, Restaurant Nordoi sits in one of Tel Aviv's very first boutique hotels.
It's a very, very old building. It's the first hotel in Tel Aviv, and it was built by the European immigrants that came to Tel Aviv. And the decor is very European because that's what they knew at the time. I think this building was built sometimes around the beginning of the century.
Its pink exterior, which would greet visitors almost a century ago, still exists today, as most of the building's features have been fully restored to its original charm. But not only is this European influence reflected in the building's historic style, but in its high-end cuisine as well.
We wanted to do something that's going to be called a cafe, but it's not a cafe in the sense where you come to get like a cafe and a sandwich. But we wanted to take it more to the European way that they look at cafe, where a cafe is a place where you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Head chef and owner Enav dazzles guests each day with the skills he's acquired in France and from having worked in the industry for over 20 years. He likes to incorporate innovative techniques into his dishes beyond what you'd find in your average cafe.
Whoa, what is this?
That's the octopus carpaccio. It's cooked octopus, and then we roll it like sushi in a cling film, and then we put it in the fridge, and then we slice it really, really thinly. And now he's gonna rub it with some parsley oil and lemon and some garlic, and he's just brushing it so it gets all the flavors. And then he's gonna put a salad on it of endive and some arugula and plum. That is the Parmesan mousse. Basically, we take Parmesan cheese, we cook it, we pump it with air, and it creates it very light and airy. We're gonna eat that in a few.
Is that a dessert?
No, it's a salty dish, but it's like a cloud of Parmesan cheese.
Wow.
And we serve it with some salmorejo, which is a Spanish tomato soup, a little bit of bread, olive oil, garlic, and that's it.
While Enav samples from many different techniques, he always finds himself going back to the classics.
I think that if you stick to classic and simple, and if you do it well, it's really, really hard. And I think that if you've managed to do that, you did a good job. That's again is an example of how we like to do things really simple. We just cook the zucchinis. The zucchinis, we buy them from the Carmel market right across the street here. We cook them with just some water, olive oil, and salt. And then we just mix them with some salsa verde.
These are baby zucchinis.
These are baby zucchinis, but they're not really zucchinis. They're more like squash because the zucchinis are greener.
I see.
And
I always get confused between the two.
These grow in Israel, but they grow wild. When you buy commercial vegetable stores, you get the real big ones. We like the smaller ones. They're a little more dense in the flavor. And now we're just gonna put a little bit more olive oil in it and some pecorino cheese.
Just a whole lot of deliciousness happening here on the table. This is what is the most intriguing to me. It's some kind of Parmesan mousse. Look how light and airy that is. Yeah, it's definitely not whipped cream. You could taste the Parmesan. That is really amazing. Oh yeah. See how it's runny and soft on the inside and there's a hard cheese on the outside? Wow. Great way of combining these ingredients because it's sweet, it's salty, you have some crunchy from the almonds.
Folks, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Cruising Israel. We hope you had a great time watching with us.
Yep, and don't forget to catch us next time as we cruise the country and show you the best Israel has to offer.
Bye.